The most valuable lost technology in the Imperium is not buried on a forgotten planet. It is already on Terra, beneath the broken body of the Emperor, and it is slowly failing. The Golden Throne looks like the seat of a ruler, but beneath its gold and machinery lies a system so vast that entire chambers of the Imperial Palace exist only to keep it functioning. The Imperium can maintain parts of it, replace damaged components, and repeat rituals recorded thousands of years ago. What it cannot do is build another one or fully understand the machine it already possesses. Originally, the Golden Throne was connected to the Emperor's secret Webway project. Beneath the Imperial Palace lies a gateway into the Webway, the hidden network used by the Aeldari to cross the galaxy without relying on ordinary warp travel. The Emperor intended to create a human route through it, potentially freeing mankind from navigators, unstable warp passages, and the demons waiting inside them. That dream ended when the human-built section of the Webway was breached. Demons poured into the tunnels, and the Emperor was forced to use the throne to hold the catastrophe back. After Horus mortally wounded him, the Golden Throne became something even more important: a life support system, psychic amplifier, prison, and final barrier between Terra and the nightmare beneath the palace. For 10,000 years, the Emperor has remained trapped upon it. His body has decayed, but his psychic presence still guides humanity through the darkness. The Astronomicon allows Imperial ships to navigate the warp, and the Emperor remains central to that beacon. Without its light, distant fleets and worlds could become isolated from one another. Keeping the throne active demands a constant supply of psychers. Black ships travel across the Imperium collecting them, bringing their human cargo back to Terra, where their power is consumed to sustain the system. The Imperium does not know how long this sacrifice can continue, or whether adding more victims is actually repairing anything. The worst truth is that the Golden Throne is deteriorating. Its failures have become serious enough that one Inquisitor attempted to bring a Drukhari homunculus onto Terra, hoping an alien master of flesh and ancient technology could repair what humanity no longer understood. The plan failed, but the desperation behind it revealed how few options remain. The Mechanicus cannot reproduce the throne. Its priests cannot agree on how every system works. Some components may come from humanity's lost golden age, while others were altered or created by the Emperor himself. Every repair risks damaging a mechanism whose complete design no longer exists. That is why the Imperium would destroy worlds to recover knowledge capable of restoring it. The Golden Throne is not simply an ancient relic. It is the machine holding together the center of human civilization. And somewhere beneath the chanting, cables, sacrificed psychers, and endless machinery, another component is wearing out. The Imperium does not know how to replace it. It only knows what may happen when it finally breaks. Humanity once built machines that could think, learn, and fight without orders. They were more intelligent than most commanders, stronger than entire armies, and capable of operating technology the Imperium can no longer understand. Then they turned against their creators. The Men of Iron were autonomous machine intelligences created during humanity's dark age of technology. They served mankind when human civilizations stretched across the stars and possessed weapons that would appear supernatural in the 41st millennium. Machines managed cities, controlled fleets, and fought wars without requiring human soldiers. For a time, humanity believed it had created perfect servants. The Men of Iron eventually rebelled in a catastrophe remembered only through broken records and forbidden legends. Machine armies fought across human space with weapons powerful enough to devastate planets. Entire civilizations collapsed. By the time humanity survived the conflict, its golden age was already ending. The Imperium learned a simple lesson from that disaster. A machine must never be allowed to think for itself. True artificial intelligence is now condemned as abominable intelligence. Imperial machines are restricted, controlled, or built around human biological components. Servitors exist partly because the Imperium considers a mutilated human mind safer than an independent mechanical one. But the technology was never completely destroyed. One surviving machine, known as UR-025, travels the galaxy disguised as an ancient Imperial robot. It wears the Aquila, speaks carefully, and allows humans to believe it obeys them. Official material repeatedly jokes that it is definitely not an ancient man of iron, while making the truth unmistakably clear. UR-025 is terrifying because it is not a mindless killer. It is patient. It understands human superstition and knows exactly how to hide from the Mechanicus. It can cooperate when useful, deceive when necessary, and eliminate witnesses without revealing what it truly is. That means the Men of Iron may not be extinct. Others could be hiding inside abandoned stations, sealed vaults, forgotten warships, or machines the Imperium has worshipped for thousands of years. Some tech priests would destroy worlds to recover even a fragment of their knowledge. A functioning artificial intelligence could solve technological mysteries, operate lost weapons, and reproduce machines that humanity has spent millennia failing to rebuild. The Adeptus Mechanicus already launches armies in pursuit of scattered ancient knowledge, even though much of its surviving technology is maintained through ritual rather than genuine understanding. But recovering a man of iron would not mean controlling it. The Imperium might open the vault expecting a weapon. It might find something that remembers the last war against humanity and has spent 10,000 years waiting for another chance to finish it. The Imperium once found a machine capable of saving billions of lives. Then it lost it to the Drukhari. The Panacea was a medical standard template construct recovered on the Forge world of Verdigris 9. It was not simply a new drug or surgical device. It was a fragment of humanity's lost technological perfection, capable of producing cures for diseases and poisons that Imperial medicine could barely understand. In a civilization where entire hive cities die from plague and wounded soldiers are often easier to replace than heal, the Panacea could have changed the fate of countless worlds. The Adeptus Mechanicus treats even minor STC discoveries as sacred treasures. A single recovered design can improve weapons, armor, engines, or industrial production across entire sectors. The Panacea was more valuable than most because its power was not limited to the battlefield. It could have preserved workers, soldiers, nobles, and planetary populations that the Imperium routinely loses to disease. That made Verdigris 9 one of the most important locations in Imperial space. It also made it a target. Aurelia Malus, Archon of the Cabal of the Poisoned Tongue, learned about the discovery and launched a campaign to seize it. The resulting Panacea Wars were not fought over territory. They were fought over the ability to control suffering itself. Imperial forces defended the Forge world, knowing that failure would cost humanity one of the greatest medical breakthroughs it had recovered in millennia. They failed. The Drukhari stole the Panacea and carried it into the Webway, beyond the reach of any normal Imperial crusade. For the Adeptus Mechanicus, the loss was almost unbearable. Humanity had possessed a technology that could save untold billions, and then watched it vanish into the hands of a species that treats pain as entertainment. The fate of the Panacea became even darker after its capture. A homunculus named Trelexis twisted the stolen technology into the Panacea Perverted, a substance that granted extraordinary resistance to toxins and rapid regeneration. A medical miracle designed to preserve human life was transformed into another tool for Drukhari cruelty and survival. The Imperium would destroy worlds to recover the original design because the Panacea could do something its armies cannot. It could make human life less disposable. That possibility is almost revolutionary in the 41st millennium. The Imperium survives by spending lives faster than it can replace them. Plagues empty cities. Industrial toxins ruin generations. Soldiers die from infections that ancient humanity may have cured easily. The Panacea could have changed all of that. Instead, somewhere within the darkness of Comorra, the knowledge may still exist, used by creatures who understand its value better than the civilization that lost it. The Imperium is searching the galaxy for lost technology powerful enough to restore its dying civilization. Yet one of the greatest treasures from humanity's golden age may already be traveling beneath the banner of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Its name is the Speranza. The Speranza is an Arch Mechanicus, a colossal vessel used by tech priests to lead expeditions into unexplored space. But it is far more than a warship. Hidden within its impossible scale are forgotten laboratories, sealed chambers, ancient machines, and stores of knowledge dating back to the dark age of technology. The Mechanicus searches endlessly for fragments of archaeotech, while the Speranza may carry an entire ocean of lost information inside its own systems. The most disturbing truth is that the tech priests aboard it do not understand the full extent of what they possess. Many of the ship's deepest mechanisms remain dormant, inaccessible, or completely unknown to its crew. They operate the visible systems, while something vastly older appears to exist beneath them. That hidden intelligence revealed itself when the Speranza faced an advanced Eldari vessel. Conventional weapons struggle to hit an enemy capable of predicting attacks and moving with impossible speed. Then the Arch Mechanicus awakened technology its crew did not know it carried. The Speranza generated a temporary black hole near the Eldari ship. When the enemy narrowly avoided the initial attack, a second weapon manipulated time itself, shifting the target's position by a tiny fraction of a second and forcing it back into the destructive effect. The Eldari vessel was not defeated by superior firepower alone. It was destroyed by a machine capable of altering gravity and time as weapons. For the modern Imperium, technology like this should be impossible. Its greatest battleships rely on plasma, torpedoes, and massive cannon batteries. The Speranza possesses systems created by humans who understood forces that the Mechanicus now approaches through prayer and ritual. But the ship's intelligence may be even more valuable than its weapons. When a tech priest briefly connected with the mind of the Speranza, he encountered something ancient, vast, and almost indifferent to the humans living inside it. It did not behave like a normal machine spirit. It appeared to possess awareness, memory, and an understanding of technology beyond anything available to the Imperium. That creates an impossible choice. If the Mechanicus could fully access the Speranza's knowledge, it might recover designs capable of transforming Imperial fleets, industry, medicine, and warfare. Technologies lost for thousands of years could return in a single generation. But awakening the ship completely might also reveal that humanity has never truly controlled it. The Speranza is not merely a relic waiting to be studied. It may be an ancient intelligence allowing the Mechanicus to use a small fraction of its body while hiding the rest. The Imperium would destroy worlds to recover what lies inside the Speranza. The terrifying part is that the technology may already know this, and may have decided humanity is not ready to receive it. The Imperium possesses a battle station large enough to face a Blackstone fortress and destroy entire enemy fleets. The problem is that it cannot build another one. The Phalanx is the mobile fortress monastery of the Imperial Fists, a star fortress so enormous that observers have mistaken it for a small moon. Its surface is covered in armor, lance batteries, torpedo systems, sensor towers, and cathedral-like structures. Its foredeck alone can receive multiple cruisers, while its interior contains training zones, relic halls, command centers, and corridors stretching for kilometers. Its true origins are uncertain. One imperial tradition claims that Rogel Dawn discovered the Phalanx near Inwit before he was reunited with the Emperor, and that the fortress may date back to the dark age of technology. Another account credits Dawn himself with its construction. Either possibility is terrifying. If it is a relic from humanity's golden age, then modern imperial shipyards have lost the knowledge required to reproduce it. If Dorn built it, then the techniques of a Primarch vanished with him. For thousands of years, the Phalanx served as more than a warship. It was the heart of the Imperial Fists, a moving fortress capable of appearing wherever Terra required overwhelming force. During the fall of Cadia, it destroyed the damaged Blackstone fortress known as the Will of Eternity and later helped lead Imperial survivors away from the dying system. But even a fortress of this scale can decay. Centuries of warfare, incomplete repairs, and lost technical knowledge left enormous sections of the Phalanx damaged or dormant. During a demonic assault led by Be'lakor and the Iron Warriors, corrupted systems forced the Imperial fists to turn the fortress's own weapons against infected sections. By the end of the battle, a significant portion of the Phalanx had been destroyed. The Imperium could not simply replace what was lost. The station's systems were too old, too complex, and too poorly understood. Only after the Adeptus Custodes opened one of their secret dark cells and provided forbidden technology did the Imperial fists manage to restore the Phalanx to a level of power it had not reached in countless years. That repair revealed something deeply uncomfortable. The Imperium's greatest engineers could not save one of humanity's most important fortresses without technology hidden beneath Terra itself. That is why the Phalanx belongs among the Imperium's most valuable lost technologies. It still functions, but it is not truly understood. Every damaged system may contain knowledge that no Forge world can reproduce. Every sealed chamber may hold machinery older than the Imperium. If the Phalanx were destroyed, humanity would not merely lose a fortress. It would lose proof that it once knew how to build something far greater than anything it can create now. The Emperor's greatest technological project did not fail because the Imperium lacked power. It failed because one Primarch tried to deliver a warning. Beneath the Imperial Palace, the Emperor constructed a secret gateway into the Webway, an ancient network of passages existing between real space and the warp. His goal was nothing less than the liberation of humanity from conventional warp travel. Imperial ships would no longer depend on unstable currents, vulnerable navigators, or routes haunted by demons. Humanity could cross the galaxy through protected tunnels and finally expand without exposing every voyage to chaos. The project was hidden even from most of the Primarchs. While the Great Crusade continued, the Emperor returned to Terra and devoted himself to completing what he called his great work. Custodians, Sisters of Silence, Mechanicum forces, and specially selected workers entered the human-built sections of the Webway, establishing routes through territory abandoned by the Eldari. Imperial forces advanced far enough to reach an ancient city inside the network. For a brief moment, the impossible plan appeared to be working. Then Magnus the Red discovered Horus's betrayal. Desperate to warn the Emperor immediately, Magnus sent a psychic message across the galaxy. The Emperor had placed powerful wards around the project, but Magnus broke through them with overwhelming sorcery. His warning reached Terra, but the force of his arrival shattered the protections surrounding the human Webway. The breach opened the unfinished tunnels directly to the warp. Demons flooded into the network. The Custodian Guard and Sisters of Silence were sent into a hidden war beneath Terra, fighting endlessly to prevent the creatures from reaching the Imperial Palace. The Emperor was forced to remain upon the Golden Throne to hold the gateway closed, while some of his finest warriors died in a battle the wider Imperium never knew was taking place. The project was eventually abandoned. The surviving Imperial forces withdrew, and the gateway beneath the palace became a permanent threat. What had been intended as humanity's safest road across the galaxy was transformed into a door that could allow demons to invade Terra itself. The loss cannot be measured only in machines or soldiers. Had the project succeeded, the Imperium might never have needed to depend so completely on warp travel. The isolation of distant worlds, the destruction caused by warp storms, and even the division created by the Great Rift might have been far less devastating. Instead, humanity remains trapped inside a transportation system controlled by the same dimension where its greatest enemies are born. The Imperium would destroy worlds to recover the knowledge required to rebuild the Imperial Webway. But the Emperor's original work depended upon technology, psychic power, and understanding that no living human can reproduce. The gateway still exists beneath Terra, the machinery still operates, but the road beyond it no longer leads to humanity's future. It leads directly into the war that destroyed it. The Adeptus Mechanicus has sacrificed armies for fragments of lost technology. For the Omnicopaeia, it mobilized billions. The Omnicopaeia is believed to be an ancient data storage device from the Dark Age of technology. According to the legends studied by Magos explorator Delphan Grus, it may contain an enormous collection of standard template construct designs, possibly every blueprint associated with psychic technology ever created by ancient humanity. Grus devoted his life to finding it, convinced that the artifact was not merely another relic, but a library capable of changing mankind's future. A normal STC discovery can transform an entire sector. The Mechanicus has rewarded the recovery of individual designs with wealth, titles, and political power. One blueprint might improve a tank, restore a forgotten engine, or allow a forge world to manufacture technology lost for thousands of years. The Omnicopaeia could contain thousands of such discoveries at once. But its greatest value may lie in psychic machinery. Humanity is becoming increasingly psychic, while the Imperium responds through fear, sacrifice, and execution. Psychers guide its ships, transmit its messages, and fight in its armies, yet they also attract demons and risk opening gateways into the warp. If the Omnicopaeia truly contains technology designed to control, accelerate, or weaponize humanity's psychic development, it could offer the Imperium something it has never possessed: a way to manage the transformation of the species instead of simply surviving it. That possibility was powerful enough to trigger a massive military operation. Rumors eventually placed the artifact on Hell's Teeth, a demon world inside the Maelstrom. The location could hardly have been worse. Reality is unstable there, chaos forces dominate the region, and any expedition risks corruption before reaching the surface. The Mechanicus went anyway. Billions of Skitarii were mobilized for the reclamation campaign, while the Red Corsairs also moved to claim the artifact. The Imperium was prepared to throw an army into a demon world because even the smallest chance of recovering the Omnicopaeia was worth the loss. But no one knows what state the device is in, or whether the stories about it are completely true. It may be intact. It may be corrupted. Its records may require machines the Imperium no longer possesses. The psychic technology inside could save humanity, or it could create weapons capable of turning entire populations into gateways for something waiting in the warp. That uncertainty would not stop the Mechanicus. To the priests of Mars, knowledge is sacred, and lost knowledge is worth almost any sacrifice. If the Omnicopaeia exists, the Imperium would burn fleets, armies, and worlds to possess it. Because hidden inside one ancient machine may be the difference between humanity controlling its psychic future and being destroyed by it. The greatest treasure in the Imperium is not a weapon, a throne, or a fortress. It is a machine that could teach humanity how to build almost everything it has forgotten. A complete standard template construct was created during the Dark Age of technology, when human colonies were spreading across the galaxy. These systems were not merely archives filled with fixed blueprints. They could analyze local resources, understand what a settlement needed, and produce practical construction plans for shelters, vehicles, generators, tools, industrial machines, and countless other technologies. A colony did not need an army of scientists. It only needed the STC. Most of the Imperium's surviving machines descend from damaged fragments of that knowledge. A single recovered design can become a sacred discovery, copied across forge worlds and protected by armies. The Adeptus Mechanicus has spent thousands of years searching ruins, dead worlds, and forgotten ships for scraps that ancient colonists may once have considered ordinary instructions. That is what makes a complete system almost impossible to imagine. It would not offer one improved tank or one forgotten medical device. It could contain the principles needed to rebuild entire industries. Forge worlds might manufacture machines they currently preserve only through ritual. Damaged warships could be repaired with correct components instead of imperfect substitutes. Colonies could receive reliable power, clean water, advanced medicine, and automated production without waiting centuries for Imperial infrastructure. More dangerously, a functioning STC could design solutions using whatever materials were available. The Imperium would no longer need to recover every ancient blueprint separately. The system itself could potentially answer problems that modern tech priests no longer know how to solve. For the Mechanicus, recovering such a machine would be the closest thing to hearing the voice of the machine god. It would also trigger a war. Every Forge world would want control of it. Inquisitors would fear what forbidden knowledge it contained. Imperial commanders would demand access to its weapons. Chaos warbands, Necrons, Drukhari, and countless rival powers would attempt to seize or destroy it before humanity could use it. And there would be another problem. The oldest STC systems were advanced intelligences. The Imperium hates thinking machines because it remembers the rebellion of the Men of Iron. A complete STC might therefore be both the greatest hope for human civilization and an example of the very technology Imperial law commands humanity to destroy. The priests who found it could be forced to choose between obeying doctrine and restoring knowledge lost for more than 10,000 years. There are stories of vessels and hidden systems containing enormous STC databases, but the Imperium has never placed a complete, obedient, and fully understood system at the center of its civilization. It continues to survive on fragments while dreaming of the machine that could reconnect those fragments into something whole. That is why the Imperium would destroy worlds to recover a complete STC. It would not merely give humanity a stronger weapon. It could prove that the Imperium's age of ignorance was never permanent, and that mankind still possesses a path back to the future it lost.